If you're under 5 feet 4 inches tall and you've ever climbed out of a car feeling like your back just lost a fight, this video is going to change the way you shop for a car. Because most car reviews are written by 6-foot-tall guys who have no idea what it's like to peer through a steering wheel instead of over it. Today, we're fixing that. Look, if you're a shorter driver and you're over 50, you're dealing with two things at once. Your body is less forgiving than it was at 30, and most cars are not built with you in mind. The seat doesn't go high enough. The steering wheel cuts across your line of sight. The mirrors are aimed at someone a foot taller than you. And after an hour on the highway, your shoulders, your neck, your lower back, they're all paying the price. But here's the thing. The right car fixes every single one of those problems without you having to do a thing. So, what makes a car actually work for a shorter senior driver? 3 things. First, seat height adjustment range. You need a seat that goes high enough so you can see clearly over the dashboard and through the full windshield without craning your neck. Second, a telescoping and tilting steering wheel that you can pull close and angle down, so your arms aren't stretched out and your wrists aren't bent at an awkward angle. And third, a low step-in height or a raised seating position so you're not dropping down into the seat like you're sitting on the floor. Most sedans fail that last one completely. We'll get to that in a moment. Car number 1, the Honda CR-V. Let's start with one of the best all-around choices for shorter senior drivers, the Honda CR-V. Now, this is a compact crossover SUV, and the reason it works so well is the seating position. You sit noticeably higher than you would in a sedan, which means shorter drivers get a natural, comfortable line of sight over the hood and the dash without having to crank the seat all the way to the ceiling. The seat itself has a power height adjuster that gives you a generous range of movement up and down. The steering column tilts and telescopes, so you can pull it towards you and angle it comfortably. The door openings are wide, the step-in height is manageable, and you're not dropping down into a low bucket. You're essentially stepping in and sitting, which is much kinder on hips and knees. Now here's where most people miss something important. The CR-V also has excellent all-around visibility. The windows are large, the A-pillars, those are the support columns on either side of the windshield. They're relatively slim, which means fewer blind spots. For a shorter driver, that matters enormously, because what you can't see can hurt you. The CR-V has been refined over several generations and remains one of the most thoughtfully engineered compact crossovers on the market for drivers who need comfort and practicality over performance. Car number 2, the Subaru Forester. But here's where it gets interesting. The Subaru Forester takes everything the CR-V does well and adds something most people don't talk about. It has some of the largest windows of any vehicle in its class. Subaru actually calls it their symmetrical visibility design philosophy. And what it means in practice is that shorter drivers have a near 360-degree view from the driver's seat that almost no other vehicle can match. The Forester sits you up high with a very upright seating position. The seat height adjustment range is excellent. And because the roofline is tall and boxy rather than sleek and sloped, there's abundant headroom. You don't feel like you're tucked into a capsule. The steering wheel tilts and telescopes. The step-in height is low enough that getting in and out doesn't require a step stool or a gymnastics routine. Most car owners don't realize this. The Forester is consistently rated one of the top vehicles for shorter drivers specifically because of that visibility, and for seniors who may have reduced neck mobility, that massive glass area means you can spot what's around you without having to fully twist and strain. That is not a small thing. That is a safety feature. Car number 3, the Toyota Camry Hybrid. Now let's talk about something slightly different. Not everyone wants a crossover SUV. Some of you prefer a traditional sedan, lower, sleeker, easier to park. And if that's you, the Toyota Camry Hybrid deserves a serious look. Here's the issue with sedans for shorter drivers. Most of them seat you low to the ground, which means you end up reaching up to the steering wheel and straining your shoulders. The Camry avoids that better than almost any other mainstream sedan because the seat goes reasonably high for a car in this class. And the steering column offers both tilt and telescope adjustment. You can set it up so the wheel is close, slightly angled down, and not obstructing your view of the instrument cluster. The Camry Hybrid also has an exceptionally smooth, quiet ride, which matters more after 50, when your joints and spine are less tolerant of road vibration. The cabin insulation is excellent. The driving position, once dialed in for a shorter driver, is genuinely comfortable on long trips, and the fuel economy is outstanding. In combined city and highway driving, the Camry Hybrid regularly achieves over 40 miles per gallon, which means fewer stops and less time in and out of the car. This is where it becomes relevant to your wallet too. A car that's easier on your body and easier on gas is a car that costs you less in every direction. If you want more honest, practical car advice for drivers over 50, no fluff, no hype, make sure you subscribe right now. We do this every week, and it will save you real money and real discomfort down the road. Car number 4, the Kia Telluride and its surprising rival. Now let's talk about something that surprises a lot of people. You might think a larger 3-row SUV would be the worst possible vehicle for a shorter driver, but the Kia Telluride and its close twin, the Hyundai Palisade, actually work remarkably well for shorter seniors, and here's exactly why. The driver's seat in the Telluride has a wide range of power adjustability. You can position it high enough to see easily, yet the step in height is managed by wide running boards that make climbing up into the cabin manageable. Once you're in, the seating position is commanding without being awkward. The steering wheel tilts and telescopes with a good range, and the controls, the buttons, the knobs, the shifter, are placed in ergonomically sensible positions that don't require you to lean or reach. But here's something most people don't think to ask about: lumbar support. A shorter driver's lower back often doesn't land in the right place in a car seat that was designed for an average height person. The Telluride has adjustable lumbar support built into the driver's seat, which means you can tune the support to where your back actually is, not where an engineer assumed it would be. For anyone over 50 with even mild lower back issues, that adjustability is not a luxury. It is a necessity. Car number 5, the Honda Fit and what it gets right that bigger cars don't. Now let's talk about the opposite end of the size spectrum, because sometimes you don't need a big car. Sometimes you need something nimble, easy to park, and genuinely comfortable for a shorter driver on daily errands. And for years, the Honda Fit was the gold standard for exactly that. The Fit has a seating position that is unusually elevated for a small car. Honda engineers called it a command seating position. And what it means is that you sit up in a way that feels more like a small SUV than a compact hatchback. The floor is flat and relatively low, the seat goes up high, and the large greenhouse, that's the glassy upper part of the car, all those windows, gives you outstanding visibility in every direction. Here's where it gets better. The Fit's interior space is genuinely astonishing for its footprint. The magic seat system in the rear means the back seats fold in multiple ways, giving you flexibility with cargo that you simply won't find in a car this size. For a shorter senior who does a lot of solo or two-person driving, the Fit checks every single box: visibility, seating height, ease of entry and exit, and a turning radius so tight that parallel parking becomes almost effortless. Honda discontinued the Fit for the US market after the 2020 model year, but there are still plenty of excellent used examples available, and they hold their value because people who drive them rarely want to give them up. Car number 6, the Volkswagen ID.4 and the electric option. Most car owners don't realize this. Electric vehicles are, in many ways, engineered more favorably for shorter drivers than traditional gas-powered cars, and the Volkswagen ID.4 is one of the best examples of why. In a conventional car, the floor has to accommodate a transmission tunnel, that raised hump running down the middle of the cabin, plus the exhaust system and various mechanical components. All of that forces certain compromises in seat position, floor height, and interior packaging. An electric vehicle has none of those constraints. The floor is genuinely flat. The battery pack sits below the floor, not in it. And that means the interior designers had much more freedom to position the seat, the steering wheel, and the pedals in ways that work for a wider range of body types. The ID.4's driver's seat adjusts to accommodate shorter drivers very well, with good height range and a steering column that tilts and telescopes meaningfully. The step in height is moderate. The driving position is upright and natural. And the ride quality, with that low center of gravity from the battery pack, is exceptionally smooth and planted, which reduces the physical fatigue that comes from a car that bounces and jostles over every imperfection in the road. For a senior driver who wants a modern, quiet, low-maintenance vehicle, the ID.4 deserves serious consideration. What to always check before you buy. Here's something that saves you an enormous amount of regret. Before you buy any car, regardless of how many good reviews it has, you must do one thing. Sit in the driver's seat and run it through its full adjustment range with the engine on. Not just glance at it. Actually, sit down, adjust the seat all the way up, adjust the steering wheel all the way toward you, and tilt it down, set your mirrors, and look at your actual sight lines. Can you see clearly over the dashboard? Can you see the full instrument cluster without the steering wheel blocking part of it? Are your feet reaching the pedals without your knees being jammed up or stretched out awkwardly? Manufacturers list adjustment ranges in their specifications, but those numbers don't tell you whether the adjustments are in the right places for your specific body. Two cars can both say the seat adjusts 2.5 inches in height, and one of them might work perfectly for you while the other still leaves you too low. There is no substitute for actually sitting in it, adjusting it, and taking it on a test drive of at least 15 minutes. Also, and this is critical, check the blind spots while you're seated at your actual driving height. Ask a salesperson to walk around the car while you sit in your properly adjusted position and tell them when you lose sight of them. A car with bad blind spots for a shorter driver is a danger, regardless of how comfortable the seat is. The bottom line. Here's the bottom line. Being a shorter driver over 50 does not mean you have to accept a car that doesn't fit you. The Honda CR-V gives you elevated seating and outstanding ergonomics in a practical package. The Subaru Forester gives you visibility that almost no other vehicle can match. The Toyota Camry Hybrid gives you a comfortable, efficient sedan with a genuinely adjustable driving position. The Kia Telluride and Hyundai Palisade give you size and comfort with lumbar support that actually works for your body. The Honda Fit, especially in the used market, remains one of the most underrated short driver-friendly cars ever built. And the Volkswagen ID.4 represents what the future of accessible, comfortable driving looks like. The right car makes driving feel effortless. It protects your back, your neck, your hips, and your eyes. It lets you get in and out without pain. And when you're spending multiple hours a week behind the wheel, that adds up to an enormous difference in how you feel and how safely you drive. So here's my question for you. What car are you driving right now? And have you ever had it properly adjusted for your height? Drop it in the comments below because I read every single one, and you might just help someone else who's dealing with the exact same thing. And if this video helped you today, subscribe. We do this every week, and there is always something worth knowing for drivers over 50.